Hello YouTube, Moose Cow here with a video I've been meaning to make for a while actually. So just getting around to it now, but a little different from the usual accentualized flavor of my channel. This video is about my Magnetized Broadsides and Boarding Parties game. Now for those of you not in the know, the original accentualized, or rather accentualized classic, not the original Nova Games version, but what we think of as accentualized classic, was a member of Milton Bradley's Game Master series, which composed of 5 games. Of course, the original accentualized, or like I said, the classic. And then you had Shogun, you had Conquest of the Empire, and Fortress America, and then you had Broadsides and Boarding Parties as well. Here's a little ad that came with this Broadsides when I got it, and it just advertises 3 of the 5. Just gotta kind of get a look at that. Now available at your favorite toy store. Oh wow, you know. But yeah, so basically, Milton Bradley came up with this Game Master series concept. Here's the rule book. Game Master series, right? So they came up with this series, and the idea was, you know, for people who like Risk, it was like Risk Extreme, right? The games that were composed of it was, you know, they're definitely for the die-hard, you know, if you liked Risk, maybe you'll like these crazy games, right? And this game is different from the other 4 of the series, and what really sets it apart is that of the 5 games, it's the only one that hasn't gotten a reissued version later on down the road. Conquest of the Empire was reissued by Eagle Games. They made an updated version. Accentualized, of course, got a bajillion versions. Shogun got reissued by Milton Bradley as Samurai Swords, but was essentially the same thing. And part of that had to do with licensing and other names also named Shogun. And then Fantasy Flight reissued Shogun as Akusu, and they also reissued Fortress America. But of those 5, this one has yet to see a reissue or a modern update. It just hasn't happened, and as you can probably take a guess, that's probably due to the components. Nobody wants to manufacture these giant plastic ships. I don't know that for sure, but I think that's a very reasonable guess, you know. But when I learned about this game, I knew I had to track it down because it just looked so absurd, and I of course love the absurd. It's a game where people look at it and they go, what? You know? So it's just ridiculous, and I love the ridiculousness. So I had to hunt down a copy. I managed to get a copy off eBay a number of years ago, and I managed to get one that's intact, which is also hard to do, and it wasn't damaged. There was a little bit of warpage to the box, but I just threw some silicone gel packets in there, and that seemed to kind of take care of it. Probably from being in a basement or something like that, you know. Yeah, I managed to get an intact one, and the other thing that sets us apart from the other Game Master series games, you know, is that unlike the other games, this game doesn't take all day to play. It's actually a very short game. It's a 2-person game, and if you don't know the rules, explain how everything works, it probably takes maybe an hour to play, hour tops. And if you know the rules, it probably takes like a half hour or maybe even less to play, you know, depending on how things go down. But I love this game because I have a friend of mine who loves board games, but he doesn't want to play anything that takes longer than like 2 or 3 hours, so he never wants to play Accentualized. It's just too overwhelming to him, or what have you. Or he, you know, so you know, Accentualized isn't for everybody, but this game can potentially be that, you know. So I was able to play this with him, and we both agreed it was very, very fun. But the one issue that we had with it, and I'll just kind of show this here, grab this ship. The one issue we had with it was that, as you can see, these the wooden decks, right, which are just cardboard. But as you can see, most of them, not including this one, but most of them are at a little bit of an angle, right? And so, using this US accentualized piece, I'll demonstrate the problem with that. If you shift just a little bit, a piece can easily fall over the edge. And if you don't have the best hand-eye coordination when you're reaching, you can easily bump either the ship, one of the masts, and then that just sends a bunch of pieces flying off the deck. And of course, that demonstration wasn't great, but I mean, you kind of get the gist. And now it's there we go. Yeah, it's just like, it doesn't take much for a piece to fall off, right? So that right away was very irritating, and I had just at the time started magnetizing my Accident pieces, so the planes for my Accident game. So that got me thinking. I'm like, I can fix this. I can magnetize this game. So as you can see, none of these pieces are going anywhere. The masts might go anywhere, might go someplace though. So that's why I'm going to be a little careful. Oop, yeah, see. If you don't have the best hand-eye coordination, it's very easy to bump the mast. Anyway, so on the bottom of these ships, I'm going to tilt it, you can see those white strips I put on the bottom of the cardboard of all the decks. And those strips are ferrous material. And that is the same material that I put on my cigar box income trackers for Accident. And they're not... Ferrous is not magnetic itself, but it is something that magnets adhere to really, really well. So I put that on the bottom of these ships, and then also put magnets on the bottoms of each piece. So the cannons have a 3 by 1 millimeter magnet. They're from apexmagnets.com. And the pirates have a 5 millimeter by 1 millimeter magnet on the bottom, also from apexmagnets.com. And it works really, really well. The original damage markers are these, and you basically can damage your opponent's hull, right? And then you're supposed to throw these damage markers down, and they're just like cardboard roundels, right? Well, I upgraded those with the HBG red damage markers, and then those are my typical roundel size magnets that I use. So those are 5 millimeter by 1 millimeter, and those work quite nicely. So just, throw one down like there, or whatever, just as a demonstration. But yeah, I mean, you can put these anywhere and they'll stay put. So getting those off, and then also because they're HBG, they're a lot easier to pick up than the cardboard ones. So I'm not going to go over exactly how to play this because there are videos out there that already teach how to play this. Ben Harsh from Harsh Rules has on his channel. He has I think a 10-minute video explaining the ins and outs of how to play this game. It's very fun. It's very simple. You essentially start off just taking pot shots at each other. Here's the cards. I got a card deck case from drivethroughcards.com. Same thing. These will work with Accident BBR cards as well. But anyway, you essentially just drive your ships around. You place 3 cards. Each person places 3 cards, and then you reveal them in terms of what you're going to do movement wise. You're going to turn starboard. You're going to move forward. You're going to turn port. You're going to if you acquire hull damage, then that's one less move you can make, etc., etc., and all that. Yeah, remain in place. So very simple. You do that, and like I said, while you're doing that, these ships here are going around the board, and when you take pot shots at each other, you remove cannons or pirates accordingly. And then if or when you bump into each other, you also remove masts. If you destroy 3 masts of your opponent, then you essentially win that way. But if you collide, depending on how you collide, so say if you collide like that, you then take the 2 ships and put them together. I'm kind of going off the map a little bit just because of the size of these things, and I have the box lit up there. But you essentially put the 2 ships like this together, and then you start boarding each other's ships and fighting that way. So that's when it really gets exciting, and you're trying to kill the captain at that point. And if you kill the captain, then you win. If you kill the other opponent's captain, you win. If you're taking pot shots at when you're taking pot shots at each other, with your cannons firing at each other. If you kill a captain, it disables the ship for a turn, because they then have to elect a new one of the pirates to become the new captain or whatever. But once they're together, you can't do that. It's in the heat of the moment. There's no time to elect a new captain, right? So that essentially is how you play Broadsides and boarding parties. And again, these ships are huge, and they're plastic and cardboard, and they're very easy. Like I said, they're very easy to accidentally bump because they don't weigh a whole lot. So that was, like I said, that is why I wanted to magnetize them, so that I didn't have to have that issue. Let's see. That one keeps wanting to pop out for some reason, but again, this kind of tilts. There's the ferrous material down there. It's a really cool game. Again, it's very quick. It's just a matter of finding a copy of this game. But if you can find a copy of it, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's very quick, and it's just a different flavor from Axis and Allies. I don't know if Larry Harris designed this game. I don't remember if he designed all the games from the Game Master series. He might have. If he did, if you know, let me know in the comments. Yeah, this game is cool, and I really like having this ridiculous game on my shelf. It's a lot of fun to play, and it's always a treat seeing people's reactions when they see this game. They're just like, wait, what is that? You know, it's really cool. So anyway, until next time, roll the dice better.